Hello everybody, it's Joe from JLW Games coming at you with another cool video back in Planet Coaster in Westwood, of course, and today we are going to add a new ride, and this is the Insanity ride, flat ride that we are going to add. And I thought the space just was begging for a ride, so I was like, what ride would fit the best? And I thought Insanity actually fit very well within the theme here. At least the best I could possibly think of in the ghost town. So there's not much of a storyline here. This is kind of a last second thing added, even though, most of it's planned. I didn't have anything planned for this spot here, but I just thought this would work very well. And in fact, I feel like it does. It fills that space pretty well and nicely because I'm thinking about, of course, another kind of ghost story theme to it. And yeah, so it's going to be kind of a ghost story themed. I haven't come up fully of what it's going to be just yet, but I'm trying new things on trying to figure out on how to make the queue line and stuff like that. I thought I'd make it just slightly different than what I usually do, and I kind of experimented with this queue line a little bit. Not too much to it, but I mean, I made this concrete base, which I don't usually do, kind of like the way I did. I don't know how to explain it. But we're going to have a nice little roof here, and it's going to be a basic little queue line that's covered up by a roof as well. So that's going to be pretty much that. In this episode, we also work on the Haunted Mansion just a little bit more, not a whole lot, but a little bit more. And we also just kind of fill in a couple more gaps, and that's going to be kind of the main purpose here, is just trying to complete this section of the park. At least for the most part, and we're not gonna ever fully complete it until the park's complete, once we get to those episodes of final details, which is going to be probably take a couple of episodes itself once we get to that spot, because we're going to have to go through every single aspect of the park and add little details that maybe I left out for later. So here in a little bit, we're gonna head back, probably in the next couple episodes, head back to the dark ride in the mining area just to try and make more progress on that. I'm trying to jump around the sections a little bit more, as you all know. So I'm constantly jumping between rides, buildings, and of course the details on the RMC coaster, Iron Ghost. I'm jumping around a little bit. That way stuff stays a little bit fresh and not too boring. Otherwise, you'd see probably a full episode of me literally just placing trees and foliage around a roller coaster, because that takes a while and there's a lot to place down. So that's gonna be that. So anyways, this little flat ride, pretty easy to build, nothing too fancy, and yeah, there's not a whole lot to it. I mean, it's literally just the Insanity ride. I was hoping I could place some plates kind of under the flat ride, but it wouldn't let me at all. So I just kind of do what I can here to try and fill up some space, and I'm just trying to kind of make it in a certain kind of shape, which it hopefully makes a little bit of sense. I don't exactly know if it does or not, but anyways, regardless, it looks I thought it turned out quite nice, and is gonna be a pretty good addition for the ghost town, because the ghost town is kind of lacking some flat rides, definitely. Of course, all it really has is the RMC coaster, and this is not going to be the the section of the park that's going to have a lot of necessarily flat rides. It's going to have a lot of shops and facilities in that nature. It's going to have attractions too, like the Haunted Mansion, of course, but that's not really considered a actual ride. It's more like an attraction, but it still kind of counts in my book. So anyways, we jump over here to the RMC coaster, Iron Ghost, and we jump over to just add a couple more foliage details and just some rocks, bushes, and I didn't want to add too many trees in this section, so you can actually get a very nice look from the pathway of the ride, because you want to be able to get a nice view of the ride from the pathway, especially if you're not riding. And I didn't want to put too many trees in the way. I put a couple here and there, but I didn't want to put too many that completely blocks your view of the coaster itself, and that was kind of my main idea here. So that does kind of save us time, just in the slightest, and it's kind of cool. So yeah, there's a little bit there, and then of course a lot of saving, and there's a couple sections where I was kind of debating what to do every so often, but here we get to the Haunted Mansion. I knew I had to put something in the mansion so guests would actually, enter the mansion. So I actually place a little water stall out of everything. You're feeling thirsty while you're walking through a haunted mansion? Well, here you go. I just want to make it to where guests will actually enter the haunted mansion itself. I might add a couple others just to get some more guests flowing through this mansion, because I think it would be nice to have some guests walking around and stuff like that. So I'll try to get the walls up, and there's still a lot of scenery items that I just want to kind of add to it. I'm not going to go ridiculous amounts in this mansion, because in the cinematic video it probably won't get too much attention. I mean, it will, but not a lot of attention. So I'm not going to do too much with it. I kind of want to focus a lot more on the other rides in this, and this is just kind of an experimented building that I'm kind of working on, and I hope, kind of wondering how it turns out. So anyways, a lot of people wanted me to make a dark ride in this haunted mansion, but since I've already got a dark ride in the works, I didn't want to really start on a second one in a way, because this mansion, I kind of like the idea of a walkthrough mansion more than a dark ride anyways, because anyways, it's just not gonna, it's just because we already have a dark ride, and I just felt like it would be out of place if we placed another dark ride literally right down the road. So this is, I like how it's turning out so far, and there's just a lot of scenery that goes in the inside of these things. So I made like this bookshelf kind of, and just wanted to like place a couple of scenery items on it. I was thinking about making some books as well, but I just thought I would just put like a ton of junk on here, and even like a actual speaker to go on there that's gonna play music, and an ambient speaker as well that's gonna play some sounds. So I want to make sure there's like some interesting sounds going on throughout here to kind of make you feel a little creeped out, and that's gonna be kind of the point of this haunted house. So that's gonna be really cool. I might add a little bit more on that bookshelf, but I thought the bookshelf was a cool idea, and just to add in the hallway, to have lots of little knickknacks, and put a lantern on there just for fun, and some speakers. I thought it doesn't necessarily hide the speakers, but it makes the speakers look at least kind of blended in, on a shelf in a haunted mansion in a way. So it's going to be playing some creepy music alongside with some creepy noises and sounds as well. So that's what that's going to do. So I want to make sure I had like a lot of doors that kind of looked like they led to a lot of different rooms and stuff, obviously, and it's going to be really cool. And the main part I want to focus on in scenery is actually in the entrance of here. So I decided to put this little night guy down here. I don't really care for him too much, but I thought, like, well, if I added some special effects around him, he'd look pretty cool with some steam or some, stuff like that with some lights, and it would look really, really cool at night. And I actually go into nighttime to try and see how this mansion looks in the dark. So I don't know if it's going to get dark in the daytime or not, being enclosed or not, or if it's going to only be dark when it's actually dark outside. So I might throw some movie magic in there and make it dark outside when we enter, but we'll try and figure that out. It's gonna be kind of neat, and really excited. It's gonna be kind of creepy, and I want to keep it pretty dark in the haunted mansion here and stuff like that. So that's gonna actually be pretty darn cool, and I hope you guys agree with me. It's not going to be anything too fancy. I don't want to like spend a cajillion episodes just detailing this mansion, at least the inside of the mansion. The outside of the mansion, I want to make sure is pretty detailed, but as for the inside, I'm going to do the main spots and stuff like that, but I don't want to spend a tremendous amount of time in it like I have been lately. So again, it's good. I thought the concept is really cool, and I think it will work very well, and it actually looks pretty good on the inside so far. So I can't wait to see what is going to come of that further down the road. I can't put the ceiling on it until, you know, I'm done with all the scenery on the inside. So a lot of this land right here I was trying to figure out what to do with, and the first thing was first, I was like, well, let me get a perimeter fence around the RMC coaster, because in real life, you know, they actually have like perimeter fences, so people can't actually get in where the coaster is actually running, because that would be very dangerous. There's been people that have actually died from that, hopping perimeter fences and actually getting struck by the coaster trains themselves. So we want to avoid that with some nice perimeter fences and stuff like that, and maybe even put some signs on there saying danger, do not pass, or something like that, just for some added effects to make it look more realistic. Now, all this little land that goes next to the fence right here that's blank at the moment, I was trying to figure out the longest time what I'm going to do with that, and I think it's the last thing I actually do, and I actually end up putting a lot of foliage and stuff and just in that spot, and no buildings, and I thought it kind of gave a better look, that I didn't want to put buildings in the way of the view of the coaster, so I wanted to make sure that was kind of empty. And we also put some height requirement sticks at the outside of some of the rides, which I have yet to do, and I thought, because I was like, I don't think I've done that yet. And then this plot of land, I was thinking about putting a little stall here, but in the end, I thought it would be nice to put, you know, some grass and some trees as well, with some bushes, and it's nice to just have those every so often around your pathways, just to have some trees and bushes, because it adds so much just by a little bit, you know, it really does. And it's really cool. So I need to think up a name and theme for the new flat ride, the Insanity Flat Ride. So if you have any suggestions, leave them down in the comment section below, and I would very much appreciate that if you can think of a storyline and different names for that. I think it'd be really neat if you guys come up with something cool. So I decided to go ahead and connected this pathway with the other pathway here, kind of through an alley and stuff. It just kind of fills in the gap a little bit more, throwing in a thing of path right there, and just kind of fills it in better rather than filling it up with like a building and stuff like that. I think it actually fits quite nicely, and you get some better views of the new flat ride as well. So I think that actually turned out pretty nicely, and you know, just filling in with some foliage and trees and stuff like that, just to finish off the area. So you get a nice view of the flat ride there, and still a lot to go in this section of the park. I don't know how soon I will actually move on to the Invention Company, but we'll kind of see. I'm trying to make sure I get a lot of progress done in every section before I move on to another section, obviously. Otherwise, you know, you're just going to get a little bit ahead of yourself, and I don't really want to do that. Because the way I've been doing it lately is just actually starting in the away from the pathway and starting the section over there, and then just gradually over time, and then actually connect the pathways together from section to section, and then we'll detail those transitions as well with like buildings and different things like that. And I actually wanted to go ahead and decorate the little graveyard in front of the mansion a little bit more, to give it a little bit eerie effect with some, you know, dead trees and stuff like that. So this is where I actually fill in those this grass with like rocks, foliage, and a couple of trees, but I didn't want to put any buildings here or anything in front of it, just so you can kind of admire the RMC coaster as it goes by, and you get a great view of it, and I think it turns out very beautiful. So I didn't want to, you know, cover up that coaster track where people can actually watch the ride and stuff. But I think that's about it for this episode anyways, so I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you like, comment, subscribe for more content like this. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure you have a great day, even cooler tomorrow, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you, and goodbye.